Welcome back to Listen In. We are here today for me to introduce my song because it's my turn to do that. That's the thing we do. Take turns. Right. And today I'm bringing one of my absolute favorite artists, someone I've been itching to feature on the show for a long, long time, Lizzy McAlpine. I love listening to her. I love covering her songs. I even made Kay record her own cover of one of her songs, Apple Pie, which I enjoyed. So I'm very, very jazzed to be doing this today. Lizzy McAlpine is an American singer-songwriter, originally from the fine state of Pennsylvania. She attended the Berklee College of Music studying songwriting, but left in her junior year to pursue music full-time. I just found out while researching this episode that she had a song named Ceilings she released this year that got to number 54 on the US charts and all the way up to number 3 on the Billboard charts for Ireland. Fun fact. Some other places you might have seen her before. She has had an NPR Tiny Desk, and she also is a frequent guest collaborator on the Scary Pockets YouTube channel. The song I'm about to play for you, Erase Me, also features the voice and additional production skills of one Jacob Collier. Yes, Kay.
Ceilings, also the sped up version, has been viral on TikTok for a while. Continue.
Oh, I did not know that. Since
I know you're not on TikTok, so I thought I would
take the
fill you in on
talks.
that.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know, it's the little, it's the spinny dress trend. Continue.
Anyways, the song Erase Me also features voice and additional production skills of Jacob Collier, an artist we have mentioned but never featured on the show before. Jacob is a multi-Grammy award-winning musical genius, undisputably, who has garnered a lot of praise and attention, particularly for his composition and production skills and use of harmony. So if you're familiar with his work, keep an ear out for those influences. And when I first heard this song, I probably looped it about a dozen times and then listened to it more throughout the day. And I hope you're equally hooked. Here is Erase Me by Lizzy Erase Me by Lizzy McAlpine featuring Jacob Collier. Here we go.
At least you didn't say Lizzie McGuire.
No, that would be horrible.
Why am I away? Nails on the floor and soot on my tongue. I don't know his name, but I still taste the rum. Nothing there but skin. Skeletons crawl on the ceiling, they know that him and his aftershave hit like a drug. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase me. Who will erase me? Race you to the end. My innocence waits like it desperately knows that I'll crash if I don't let you go. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase me. Erase me. Erase me. calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase. Don't answer me, I'm calling just to hear you scream. And you're fading, but he feels like you in between. I've said too much, in and out of wanting us. Now you're fading, and I wonder who will erase me. Oh, who will erase me?
Well, I can see none of us have been erased. We're all still here.
Thankfully. Our phone clones have not got rid of us.
Oh no!
Oh no! You're the only one that's
I'm back.
able to do that.
Nora's taking over.
I wish I could do that without creating static.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. So I know Kay is familiar with both artists, relatively speaking. Alexis, how are you learned in the ways of the Jacob Collier and the Lizzy McAlpine already?
I am quite learned of both the McAlpine and the Colliers of the world.
Right. Because I was I have my ideas, but I was wondering like what you two were hearing in terms of like the combination or the influences that each one was having on the song's
Right.
construction. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really surprising duo, to be honest, because I think of Lizzy McAlpine and I think like, man, she's so chill. I go to her a lot when I'm just trying to vibe out, and then like Jacob Collier is like the opposite of that, or at least most of the time he's the opposite of that, where Jacob Collier is like 110 miles per hour almost at all times, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really like this song is because it's such an interesting duo, but Jacob Collier is used so tastefully. I don't want to say used. That's a bad word. His contributions are
A dash of Jacob Collier here and there.
yeah, it's like it's undeniably him because like there are Jacob Collier isms peppered throughout the song with like the vocal manipulation chop things. That's very much his style. That sort of thing Lizzy's also doing as well, which is cool to see like her you doing her like little phone clone of Jacob. So that's really cool. But again, like it's not like Jacob has like his own verse. Like when you see kind of like collaborations, like the person who's featured is gonna have like their own like section of the song, whether it's like their own verse or maybe they'll do the bridge. But no, he's just kind of like this accent to the song. He's kind of like this. He's like this presence that's always there, but like he kind of just shows up every now and then, and it really colors a lot of the elements. And
Jacob Collier is omnipotent.
yeah,
He's omnipresent.
I wouldn't put it past him. I believe that.
But yeah, I think I really just find the execution of them working together, their styles blending together. It's so well done. I feel like I get enough of Jacob without feeling I need more. I feel like I can get into this song on a Lizzy McAlpine sort of way where, yeah, it's a really intense song and it's not one of those songs that make me, the lyrics definitely, it talks about, a pretty like heart-wrenching emotion that's very Lizzy McAlpine, I would say. But like usually when I listen to her, I'm kind of just like trying to get into my feelings and just be like, really like angsty, but like in a very quiet, mellow way. And this song's really intense. But despite that not being the experience here, despite this being a really intense song, I feel like the way that both of them execute this vibe, this collage of sounds and this collage of artistry, it's amazing. And I just love the song from start to finish.
It's so interesting that you say it. The combination surprises you because to me it makes so much sense. because they're like really good friends, right? They post videos around campfires harmonizing together. I think they have one out that's like the two of them and Victoria Canal. Is that how you say her
Oh.
last name?
Yeah. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
there's like a video of the three of them harmonizing. And I also kind of think of Jacob as this like musical weirdo, and I say that lovingly, who just likes to push boundaries, right? But also I think of him sort of as like a king of harmony.
Yeah.
And my first introduction to Lizzy McAlpine was actually on cover videos on Instagram. I forget who reposted one of hers, but maybe it was like Julia Michaels reposted something from Lizzy on her story. And I was like, oh, her voice is so pretty. And I followed her, and I'd been following her since. So I'd heard her voice a lot before she actually started to release her own music regularly in recent years. And those were like always very harmonically crisp and clean and, just perfectly executed, beautiful, but not over the top showy runs. And in a way, to me, they exist in a similar space as far as like musicianship goes. They have different styles of their own music for sure, but to me, their strengths work together really well. Alexis looks like he does not believe what I'm saying.
Oh no.
But also he's frozen. Okay,
There we go.
that
I'm
was
back.
the problem. It wasn't me
Yeah.
then, it was your phone clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me it made a lot of sense, the collaboration, both just because I think they know each other outside of business, and also because they're good at a lot of the same things, so it makes perfect sense that together they could sort of make a magical song.
Yeah.
But also, I think we see featured producers. I certainly see it a lot in some circles of music. I'm thinking like there are some songs from Becky Hill, if you're not familiar, she's a British EDM type artist, but she's a singer. She has a lot of features that she'll feature a producer, and the producer isn't like having a verse or singing a song. The producer is producing it, so that made sense too.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you you're wrong, Alexis. I'm just saying I had a different experience coming into this.
For me, like the opening chorus, like the melody overall seemed very Lizzy. And then like they're like obviously you've got like the do 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 stuff and like the multi part harmonies. That's a very Jacob thing. But I really enjoyed how it, except for one part after the bridge where like they were doing a very definite like stop start with like the different styles, it really blended together kind of seamlessly. Like they kind of eased into each other's sounds, and I think if you were to just like write out what different parts were happening where, it would seem kind of like a call and response, but because it was just like produced so well to like have both of those elements, I didn't it didn't shock me at any point. It's like, oh, this is just what's happening, and it's a cool sound palette to work with.
And I think even those sudden starts between the styles made a lot of sense musically, with it having a big build and then kind of sucking back in like a vacuum. I always think that's a really effective tool when artists use that kind of thing, to sort of shock in a good way, but pull you back into the song after something so big.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever, and I haven't listened to a ton of Lizzy's releases, honestly, but I don't think I've ever heard her sing that aggressively.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
true.
that was surprising to me, because I feel like I don't normally get that from her and the songs that I have heard and I have listened to regularly.
Yeah, she matched the energy of the instrumentals, which normally her instrumentals are just like chill guitar and piano. So yeah. I want to stop to read the comments a little quick. We got some good ones while we were listening. Trickswitch says that bassy or bassy.
It's the fish song.
We were talking about fish songs earlier.
Everything comes back to the fish song. Speaking of the fish song, Olivia Barton of the Fish Song is on tour with Lizzy McAlpine right now.
Yeah. Really?
Awesome.
Look at that.
It's meant to be.
Wow.
that so Trick Switch said that bassy fall thing does magic. Correction, all of this does magic. Definitely with you there. And Jeremy said her voice and that beat matching her flow was so good, which is like another thing that like I don't know whether they did it which came first. Like did they plan on having that rhythm, that's like syncopation going on where like her voice would match the beat, or like did they match the beat after she did the vocal or whatever. I don't know, but it's cool. It sounded really cool.
Yeah.
And then one more comment that I'm definitely agreeing with, when the song ramps up like that, it's so fun. Gives me little neck goosebumps. That was also from Jeremy. Like there were parts where particularly the bass and the sub bass would kind of like whoop, like build up very rapidly during transitions, and like it's like the opposite of a drop, I guess. But it has the same sort of impact for me.
A lift.
A lift?
Not the opposite of a drop.
A rise.
A rise. We making bread here.
Yeah. A lot of neck goosies are rising too.
Yeah.
Got the tingly sensations.
Yeah, no, those were really cool parts. It was a really great collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine them happening kind of at the same time, right? Like working out the song together and being like, oh, what if I do this? Oh, what if I do this? And then it becomes this big build that.
Have you seen any of Jacob's process? So he makes, he wasn't the primary producer for this song, which kind of surprised me because like he seems to be so in it. But what he does a lot of times when he collabs with people is they'll do it remotely, and he'll have his own studio where he's got like his 20 bajillion instruments on the walls, and like all these like 10 different mics and stuff like that. But he will collab by having the people he's working with like download a program on their computer, and then he kind of VPNs into their computer and controls it so that like he can tweak like they share the master that they're working on at the same time. So he could definitely be like, oh, let's try it this way, or like if she's like, oh, I want to do this thing, he's just like, bam, there we go, we're doing it. So,
Dang,
yeah,
that's crazy.
that is
Right,
crazy.
he's not even listed as a producer on Spotify. He's only listed as a writer. And that's really surprising to
on
me.
Genius he has credits for additional production. So
Oh.
yeah,
Whatever that means.
whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And also co-songwriter, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Could have fooled me.
Awesome.
Yeah. One more thing I want to talk about before we
Yeah.
transition over is Lizzie's tone and like her vocal quality is just so magical to me. Like it's got this sort of like dark quality, but it's also like it's like dark and bright at the same time. Like her treble is like really crisp and clear, but like her overall tonality like is just kind of like rich and warm at the same time, which I think is really cool for me. And also like her vocal technique, like this, like of course like all modern production is like has like compression and a little bit of reverb and all that stuff, but like it sounds very natural to me. And her inflection and her control of pitch and like her vibrato especially is like really impressive to me. Yeah.
She can sing anything. She has a style of singing, and I don't know if it's just because my first introduction to her voice was like Instagram, so I had video with it, but she has a style of singing where even if I'm just listening to her, I can almost feel and see the way her mouth is moving because of the way that she pronounces words is so distinct when she's singing. And I feel like that pronunciation is a lot of what is actually contributing to the uniqueness of her tone as well. If you really like, if you could watch, I don't know if she has new videos up. I'm not good at Instagram, but if you watch old videos and just like watch her mouth, it is really, really interesting to see the way that she sings. It's sort of mumbly, but it's so crisp and clear at the same time. Yeah, but I don't know. That's a thing for me that maybe that's a weird thing to really enjoy, but that's the thing I really enjoy about her vocals is just the way that she pronounces words.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get that. That's a similar thing that I experienced with Alan Stone. Is that like if you
Mm-hmm.
look at his mouth, like you can see the sounds that are coming out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I'll have to watch a little more closely with her stuff. All right. Anything else?
Something,
Oh, yeah, go for it.
yeah. Uh, I think something that I really liked with this song, probably not intentional, maybe it was, who knows? But it's kind of like the the sort of way the lyrics I were kind of like working in tandem with the music in a way. So like in the first verse, where the arrangement is mostly just that fiery sort of sounding guitar. Not a whole lot is happening, and then we get that um this feeling of like whiplash in a way when that descending bassy thing happens, the bassy magic happens, and you're like, whoa, that's interesting, because like it's like it's out of element from like what's happening right now, which is just voice and guitar. But like that line ends where she's like, I don't know his name, but I still taste the rum, and then she ad libs the word rum, and the way that it's ad lib is in that very Jacob Collier sort of like vocal choppy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it only happens for a second, but like just that ad lib, the way that it was used, it's like it sets what's to come.
Hmm.
Where the song, becomes a lot more Jacob Collier, and it's like, whoa, okay, so this is kind of like a little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Um, so I thought, those little details were like really, really cool. How like the 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 lyrics in a way are working in tandem with the music, and I think this is at most this is at display the most in the last chorus, which I want to say is probably like a perfect last chorus, outro chorus of a song. If I was to like give an example, like this is one of those perfect end choruses where um it is just so different. Like the lyrics are all the same, but the way that it's presented is so different from all the previous chorus. It starts off quiet, it gradually builds. The instrumentation, the guitar is doing like just single stroke chords rather than the rhythm. It eventually gets back to that rhythm that happens throughout the song, but just all these small choices that like make this final chorus feel different. Was just masterful, beautiful. And then that lyrical thing that working in tandem with the music happens here, where there's the line where it's don't answer. Oh, no, that's not the line. The line where it's where is it? And I've said too much. In and out of wanting
Yeah.
us. That line where all the instruments drop out, and then she says in and out, and then the music comes back, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's like the music's going in and out in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of these small details, like when you are aware of it, it just makes those moments feel even more special.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not so on the nose that you're like, that's
Hmm.
cheesy. Like it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's just fun.
yeah, and it goes back to that reverse drop, the rise, the the lift, because like when it comes back, it's not like it's just a hard comeback. Like it just pushes back in. The music kind of just pushes in rather than it just like drops out flat and then comes back in. It's not like a 100%, 0%, 100%. It's not like that. It's not like a digital signal. It felt more analog in that it was a ramp up back into the music. And it was just like, oh, it's really beautiful.
It really
Amazing.
feels like the way the song manages energy is really masterful
Mm-hmm.
in the production and in the writing and in the way the vocals are delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the harmonies come in and
Mhm.
build up and just expand into this like what feels like infinite universe of harmony.
Yeah.
The Collier effect.
That could be his next album,
Yeah.
actually, the infinite universe of harmony. I would believe it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. All right. Yeah, like I said before, if you like more of Lizzy, check out Scary Pockets recordings, Tiny Desk, Instagram. Apparently, she's got a lot of cool stuff. I really want to dig into that trio with
I'm gonna
Jacob
post
and
it in the
yeah.
Discord. Join our Discord,
Yay!
so you don't have to look it up.
Nice. All right. Next song. Let's go.